so many of us, we internalize this message. Not risk too much because we might fail.
Unlock possibilities by changing your mindset. You will expand what's possible for you, for the ones around you, for the world. You're moving into a land of both blind spots and learning, of things and ideas. You just crossed over into the mindset zone. Join your guide, Anna Melikian, founder of Solo Biz Academy, the director of education for Book Yourself Solid, and a PhD in psychology.
The show you are about to listen is backed by popular demand from the Mindset Zone archive vault. To get all new episodes, make sure you subscribe via your favorite podcast app and visit mindset.zone. Yes, instead of .com, it's .zone. There you can find the episode archive, show notes, and other amazing resources, including how to 4 times your success so you can work smarter, not harder, and learn how to leverage your talents to make a bigger impact while enjoying the process. All at mindset.zone. Hi there, I'm Anna Melikian, and I'm back here today to speak about one very interesting topic for self-employed professionals, or 2 topics. I really have 2 topics in my agenda for today that I hope will be interesting and helpful for you in your own journey as a self-employed professional. Okay, the first thing is repurposing, and the art of repurposing content, and why this is so important for a self-employed professional. And this is really when you open your own shop, when you become your own boss, we start our own businesses, very soon we realize how many different hats we have to wear. We have to be our own marketing director, bookkeeper, salesperson, webmaster, editor, admin. Of course, when we start to build our business and grow our business, we can bring people on board and delegate some of this work. But even like that, we are much more than the service provider of the special thing that we deliver, because most of self-employed professionals, we are very good at something, and that is the reason that we decide, okay, I can do this, I can do a business based on my skills or my talents of doing this, of helping other people in this specific way. But then, surprise, surprise, we have to do more than that. It's not enough to be good in that skill or talent. We have also to learn all the other business skills necessary to run our own business. And one of the skills that is important to learn from the beginning is this of repurposing content, reusing, recycling content. Otherwise, or to say, we don't have time to do everything. And it's interesting when I think back about this, really. I think back when I had a job, when I had my first steady job in university. So my background is psychology. I did my master's degree in psychology in Spain, Salamanca University. And then I work with them there I assist some. So I was teaching some specific topics there afterwards, after I complete my master there. And I was starting to do my PhD at the time. And I got a job offer from a Portuguese private university that I say, okay, I don't have my PhD yet, but I have to take advantage of this offer. So I moved from Spain, where I did my master and I was living. I moved back to Portugal. That was my country of origin. For this position in a private university. And I was teaching there. I was teaching freshmen in the university psychology, in the psychology department. And I still remember when they sent me the modules, the subjects that I had to lecture about, that my first reaction was, oh gosh, they are asking me to repeat the subjects. I have to give the same subjects to 2 different classes. That is going to be boring. That is not going to be I don't know if I like that. After 1 month, I was so grateful that they had given me the same topic, the same subject for 2 different classes. Because the work, I didn't have foresee the work when you are organizing a semester of material, the work that we have to put for each class. And how good was that I was putting some preparation work that I could use into different classes without to have to repeat all the preparation work from scratch. And I start to notice that when I was giving the second class, when I was repeating that thing that I dread, oh my gosh, I'm going to be repeating material, I was being better in delivering it. The students were more engaged because I was more comfortable with the material. So it was working better. And I said, I like that. I will not mind to have a third class to repeat the material and to get better. So I start to appreciate the repurposing, the reusing, do it again and take it to the next level. And when I moved here to the United States and I decided to become a coach and to have my own business online, part of my model was doing loads of group programs. I love the one-on-one, but I also love the group settings and working with groups. And I had to prepare materials to promote the groups. I had to prepare webinars. So I start to go back to my teaching experience and lecturing experience, and I brought a lot from there. And the repurposing, the reusing, the learning things and take it to the next level with the repetition, with the rehearsal. That is people in the arts do. They train a lot, they rehearsal a lot, and then they really manage to be amazing in what they do. And we can do the same as self-employed professionals. Repurposing is an art and it's a skill that we need to develop and be very good at, and in nothing diminish our contributions to the areas, whatever areas we are working at, is really very important. And if you still have trouble, because I have clients that they say, oh, but I already did that in eZine. Oh, I already wrote a blog about that. It's not that repeating it. People are not going to think that I don't have new material. No, you have to take that out of your mind. Not everybody, or very few, or if there is anybody that is going to read everything that you write, that is the first one. And we need repetition to learn. We need to see, to listen, to absorb things in different ways. And it's like, think about your favorite singer or a favorite musical group. What they say, you don't listen to the same song over and over again. They don't sing the same song over and over and over and over again. And they say, the good ones is almost, if you connect with your core when you are speaking, if you connect with your message, why you do what we do, people will resonate with it. People will feel with it. And the strength of the message, the authenticity of the message is there. It's not that it's the first time that you are saying that, but that you connect, you are centered, you are grounded, and you manage to transmit that energy, that power in what you are saying. So keep things in mind, and walking my talk, that is one of the things that is so difficult, but I really try to do. I try to walk my talk. When I was preparing for this episode of this podcast, I was, what should I speak of? And oh gosh, I had a so interesting topic for my eZine this week. The eZine is the email that I send every week to my subscribers list. It's my way of keeping in touch with them. I really like what I wrote this week. Why it will be great to speak about that in the podcast too, reusing that material, that content that I use in my weekly zine in my podcast. So, and by the way, you can, if you go to annamelikian.com/2, Anna, A-N-A, Melikian, MELIKIAN.com/2, the number 2. You will get to the notes of this episode, and where I put also a link to my eZine, where I will put other informations about this show. So it's always a way of putting all the resources there that is really nice. So like I was saying, the topic of my eZine this week was about a different way of seeing a Greek myth that is called the Icarus Myth. There is another thing that you have to get used to when you are listening to me because of my accent. Sometimes I can give a very original pronunciation to some words, mainly to names. But I check this one, this Greek myth that is called Icarus Myth, and I even got here a pronunciation page in website. Let me see if I can make it speak for me and pronounce for me this word. In one moment.
Icarus.
The Icarus Myth.
Icarus.
That is a very old Greek myth. And the interesting thing was, and probably when I tell you a little bit, you recognize what it's about, that I was lucky enough about a couple of weeks ago here in Phoenix, where I live is Phoenix, Arizona. I went to a forum that the keynote presentation was given by Seth Godin. And again, if you don't know anything about Seth Godin, is a person to really go and listen, really go and read his blog. He's an amazing writer, and he blogs almost every day. So it's really, if you don't know about Seth Godin, his name and his website and is SethGodin.com. And again, I will put that in the show notes, annamelikian.com/2. And he has this amazing talent to inspire us to see things from different perspectives, to inspire us to think about things that are important, but we don't question many times. So it's really a very interesting business author that I really advise, if you don't know his work, to check him out. So like I was saying, I had the privilege, the luck of seeing him live in a keynote presentation here in Phoenix, Arizona, in a leadership symposium forum. Was really one of the many things that is like turnaround, was this myth of Icarus, the Icarus myth. That is and you are familiar with the version that most of the people know about of the Icarus myth. That is where the father, he builds these big wings of feathers and walks, and he gives it to his son, Icarus. And this is the way that they have of flying away from the island where they are being kept captive. They are prisoners in that island, and this is the way of them to escape, is by building these wings of feathers and walks. And so the father and son, Icarus is the son, are going to flee the island this way. And the father warns Icarus, the son, not to fly too high because his wings from feathers and walks can melt. So don't fly too close to the sun because you can fall. And this message, or they say, so many of us, we internalize this message. Not risk too much because we might fail, because we might fall. And myself as now a parent. I'm a mother of a 5.5 year girl. I'm guilty of this because, don't do this, don't do that. That is danger. We are so parents with so good intentions. We want to protect that. Sometimes we say, don't fly too high because you can fall. And some kids, they are risk takers. They don't care. They just go for it. But other people, and I internalize a lot this message of, be careful. Take precautions, be very careful. Failing is not a good thing. Don't risk too much. And when I became a self-employed professional running my own business, I really had to reframe and shift my mindset about this. Because really, if we want to succeed, we have to take risks. That is part of the journey. And we have to fail many times and learn from the mistakes that we make, pick ourselves up and go again. So if we don't have that resilience, if we don't learn to, it's not bad to fail, it's part of the journey of success is failing. We have to take risks. And we have to, but even when we do that mind shift, we have to take risks. We try to keep a lot of risks under control. And from one side is good. But the interesting part, and this is the other view, the other perspective of this myth, is what Seth Godin said in this keynote presentation, that if we look historically to this myth, Icarus Myth, before 1880, the myth was usually told longer with another part of the story. So I'm going to read one of the versions that was usually the standard version before 1880. The myth involves Icarus and his father that are stranded on an island. The father, he managed to make these wings and says to the son, "Put this on, but don't fly too high, because if you do, the sun will melt the wax and you will die. But more importantly, don't fly too low, because the mist in the water will get on your wings and you will surely perish." So, originally this myth had this message, yes, don't fly too high because the sun will melt the wax and you will fall and die. But more importantly, don't fly too low because the mist in the water will bring you down and you also perish. So that was, whoa. Okay, yeah, without any doubt, there are risks of flying high. We cannot deny them. We can fail, we can fall, without any doubt. But do we think about the risks of flying too low in our life and in our business? What are we putting at stake here by flying too low? So this is what I would like you to think about for a moment, about the risks of flying too low. Are you flying too low with your business and getting in risk of perish too? Because you are not taking the risk of finding the ideal height for you. So, and again, you can find this, I will put a summary of this that I'm speaking about, and in my show notes, you go to annamelikian.com/2, and you will find there a version of this myth there, and also the page of Seth Godin. I will put a link to his page, and informations about my eZine and other resources that I have. So please don't fly too low. It's more dangerous than fly I. Thank you for listening. And remember to visit mindset.zone. Yes, instead of .com, it's .zone. There you can find all the episodes and other amazing resources, such as how to join the Mindset Zone community and how to 4 times your success so you can work smarter, not harder, and learn how to leverage your talents to make a bigger impact while enjoying the process. All at mindset.zone. As always, I'm so grateful that you have crossed over into the Mindset Zone. Expand what's possible for you, for the ones around you, for the world.